And of course, I forgot to mention in the last module that super is our new syntax number 3. So this means I'm going to call a method that was defined in a superclass. So I can either, if I just say super by itself, it's going to be the constructor. But of course, I can also call other member methods. So that's that super keyword. Okay. There's one more keyword I want to teach you. And in order to do that, I actually have to be a little more careful with my packages here. So what I've done is I've put the person and the student class in a package called person. And I've put the driver in a separate package called driver. What that means is if I'm in a package outside of person and I want to use the student and the person class, I actually have to import the package name dot the class name. And this I've been kind of sloppy with so far, but it becomes important when you're working on larger projects to be able to group similar things in a package. Like java.util is a big package, for example. Okay. Before I move on to the next keyword, I just want to really nail this home, let me add just one more quick example. Let's say that a student also has classes. So what I'll do is I'll say private array list string, or I'll say courses just so I don't keep saying class. So an array list, actually, that is another kind of collection. It's actually a little simpler than a hash map. It's like a flexible array. You don't have to know the size that it's going to be ahead of time. It can grow as you go along. So what I'll do is when we make a new student, I'll just say courses equals new array list. So I'm making an empty list of courses. And then I can add a method. I can say public void add course string course name. And then I can just say courses dot add course name. Okay, and now, so what we'll do is in addition to putting in the class, we'll say ret plus equals comma plus courses. Okay, if I go to run driver, then that gives me this. So I see, okay, just this empty list here. So the array list class has a toString, which will tell me what's in it. So let me just add a couple courses. So Chris is taking 174, right? So if I run this now, I'll see, okay, CS174. I can also say Chris.add course CS476. So he's an interesting case because he's actually taking graphics and 174 at the same time. Okay, so now notice the toString will have both of these things in it. But Nick, he's still a regular person, right? He's not a student, so I can't say Nick.add course CS174, even though he does probably need to take 174. I'm just kidding. Now he's more of a math guy, but he can code too. I can't do that, right? Because that's part of the student class, not the person class. Okay. So that's really something that's only relevant to student. But nice. So I have some functionality here that I can add to student, and I have all the functionality person. Okay. So I just want to show one more example of that. But now let's say I want to format things a little bit differently. So let's say I wanted to, instead of outputting name, colon, age, and all that, instead I wanted to say, this is a X-year-old named X, and then the rest of the stuff. So I can't really make use of the superclass's toString anymore because that doesn't return something formatted the way I want. Okay. So let me just start off differently. So I'll just say string ret equals this is a age-year-old named name, right? Oh, but crap. It's giving me an error here. It says age has private access in person and name has private access in person. Well, that's weird, right? I mean, I told you that this is really the same class as person, it just extends the functionality. So why can't I access that? Well, it turns out there's a feature in Java when you're doing information hiding. I mean, you may even actually not want to know all the stuff that deals with the person when you're doing a student. There may be things you want to keep internal to person that you never have to worry about when you make a student. Who knows? So you have that option. So there's actually another keyword, another designation for declaring variables when you want to share them amongst subclasses. And that's called protected. So if I change private string name to protected string name and private in age to protected in age, you'll see that those errors go away. Good. So if I go and I run this in driver, now I get that new toString and I'm all good because I'm able to access the age and the name here. So I get, this is a 32-year-old named Chris Traley, sophomore, CS, and those are the courses. Okay. So protected means that you can access it from within the person class, so from an object of type person, and you can also access it from within an object of type student, and any other subclass of person. I could have another subclass of person. We could say administrator, perhaps. And, you know, maybe, so this is pretty similar, except they have an office. Which office are they part of? So I'll say public class administrator extends person. So now this is even a new thing, right? An administrator's usually not taking classes, so we're not going to, they don't have a class year, so we're not going to define this stuff. But they are a person, so they're still going to have an age and a name, but they're going to have an office. So I can say public administrator, string name int age, string office. And I can do something very similar. So I can say super name age, so that'll call the person constructor for the name and the age. And then I can say this dot office equals office. And so, you know, I can do the same thing. It's a public string toString, and I'll just return, maybe I'll just return the name of their office. So I'll just say return name plus in office plus office. So I can say, you know, administrator Brock equals new administrator Brock Blomberg. And he's probably 35, right? That's how old you have to be a president. Is that right? Is it 35 or 36? I can't remember. Anyway, and he's in the office of the president. Okay. So now when I go to print him out, did I misspell administrator? Oh, no, I have to import it, right? I have to say import person.administrator. Okay, there we go. So now if I go to print out Brock, system.out.println Brock, I should see, oops, I want to run the driver. Okay, Brock Blomberg is in office president. Cool. All right, so I was still able to access the name because it's protected. But if I try to print out the name from a class that's not in the same package, or that's not a subclass, it's not going to let me. So if I try to say system.out.println Brock.name, it says name has protected access. Okay. So we want to hide that. We don't want to allow a class from outside of this package to access the name. So protected acts very similarly to private, but you see you have slightly more granular control. So for protected, you can say this is something that's available to me and all of my subclasses. For private, it's something that's only available to me, not even available to my subclasses. So you have to make that choice. Okay, and that's pretty much all there is to inheritance, actually. And now it's just a matter of practicing it and getting used to it and how you override methods.